Section 3, Curating and Archiving, Putting it all together. When museums archive and curate, or curate and archive, which is probably a more proper order, they're collecting information and organizing it in such a way that outside persons can take a look and understand what they're seeing, making sense out of information, historical information. And oftentimes this is done in regular museums as well as small local historic societies. So what do you need to archive and curate? The first thing you need is a camera or a scanner. This is so that you can take pictures of or scan documents or artifacts that you want to archive. Second is you'll need a plastic or corrugated file box for putting files in. You'll need digital storage in the way of a flash drive, thumb drive. Additionally, you'll need evidence-based forms, which you'll be seeing in the next couple of slides. You'll also need to have files, a way to put these evidence forms and the documents that you might be collecting into a file. Even if you have objects, as it said earlier, you're still going to want to put those in a plastic file box or corrugated file box, archive box. And you'll need a computer because it's hard to do research with genealogy without a computer or to save things. You're going to be needing the computer to download documents from places like Ancestry.com, the National Archives, and so forth. So what's the point of archiving and curation, or curation and archiving? I mean, museums use curators and archivists, and those people try to put together collections in a way that they make sense. And also the reason for doing it is to avoid potential loss and to preserve the wonderful files that you've acquired. A lot of the files, a lot of the information on the average person has been lost. And this is a sad thing because the average person is really the person who lived history on another level. They're an alternative history to those who wrote history, like the generals and politicians and philosophers and all that kind of stuff. The average person, maybe who couldn't even read or write, is looking to you from their grave to help them reassemble their lives, to explain where they came from and why you are who you are. So preventing potential loss is a big deal because a lot of the things that we collect could lack durability or be obsolete. Some of the examples of storage can become obsolete, whether it's, a video, a VCR. Usage and handling, things could be overused and handled, and personal digital archiving. So digital archiving is very important. You want to locate everything to be saved, and that could be a high school ring, that could be a letter sweater, it could be a yearbook, it could be a newspaper article or an advertising from Grandpa Jones's hardware store. Put it all in a pile and then decide what to do with it, what to keep. In my case, I tend to keep everything because you never know whether you're going to need that information later. There might be some little thing that will help you put pieces together in your family puzzle. Then you're going to organize the files. There are some forms that you're going to see in the next slide that are going to help you to organize these files. You're going to save copies in different places and manage collections. That means if you save files digitally, you'll want to do that, two versions of that. so that if one gets destroyed, the other one still exists. Then you're also going to want to keep track of your hard files, meaning in an archive box with files. And that includes even hard things like a ring or a shirt or a sweater, as you'll see in the upcoming slide. The Library of Congress suggests that you use a digital camera and take pictures digitally. That's the way it's done in the future, for the future, and it's using film is not as flexible as using a digital camera. The digital camera also assigns a name to the file and inserts some kind of technical information into the photo file about the conditions of the shot. The photo should be saved in JPEG or PNG files. That's the traditional way of doing it. So I'm going to use myself here as an example of how we might digitally preserve objects and photos, not just documents. So in this case, you'll see that it appears that I was doing something for the Olympic team, gymnastics team, and that would be correct. I was a massage therapist for the Olympic team, and I want to archive my t-shirt, for example. So the t-shirt says on it that I was on the medical staff. I take a picture of it and I include with it a picture of myself wearing it at the event. Okay, so that's an object that I would like to preserve. To do that, I'm going to take a picture of the t-shirt, and then I'm going to save the image digitally, and I'm going to take a picture of the picture and save it digitally. I'm then going to take the picture and put it in a file. Additionally, I'm going to take the t-shirt, fold it up neatly, and put it in a large plastic sealable bag. And I will put both in an archive file. So you would not just be saving documents, you would be saving actual items, and they would be saved in this way. Let's look at another example, the digital preservation of documents. In this case, we have a World War I draft registration card. Thomas Henry or Thomas H. Manning. It appears that he was born in 1887 and that he was born in Pittsford, Vermont, was self-employed, and was living in Herkimer, New York. By description, he is tall, he has blue eyes and black hair. So this is the digital preservation of the document. So first you want to take a picture of the document, then you want to save it in some way. In this case, I'm using the thumb drive or some other electronic way. Then I'm going to take this document and put it inside of a paper file, and that paper file would go into an archive box. So how do I keep all this in order? This is how. The digital preservation of documents, the below form, should accompany every archived and curated box. So in this case, we will see here that we have the person's name, Archive 4, Thomas Henry Manning, and the date on it was 7/25/2018. Underneath, you'll see the box number, the file number, and some information on the contents of that particular file. Thomas Henry Manning, the document, World War I, draft registration, and the card number was 69. Working in Herkimer, New York. He is self-employed, born in Pittsford, Vermont, marital status single, height tall, hair black, eyes blue, race white. It was bequested to his daughter, Rachel Manning, on December 15th, 1961. So, obviously, we have to take a picture of the document, which you saw in the previous slide. We have to save it to a thumb drive or some other electronic means or media. Then we want to save it in a file and save it in a box. Now, this whole document would be taped to the top of this box. So you will have other things. You'll list it as box number 1, file number 2, and it might be another document bequested to. It will be box number 1, file number 3. Maybe it's like the image you saw where I saved a t-shirt and a photograph. You would note that here. And bequested to when? Who did you give it to? I mean, it could be to a family member. It could be to an historic society. We don't know. But whatever it is that you say. And however many pages this is would be taped to the top of this box, which would be labeled number 1. So this is the basic thing that you're going to do. 1, take a picture of it. 2, save it electronically. I would do that twice. 3, save it in a physical file and a physical box. So you're acting as the museum curator to your own family. Very interesting. Lots of fun. So congratulations on completing your basic course in genealogy. There's a lot more to know. And once you've mastered this, you can move on to more courses I will be presenting on subjects like indexing. In other words, indexing is when you have a document and you want to get that document so it's readable online, so that someone can find that document online. Working with genealogy sites. How to write an effective legacy book on yourself, your mother, your father, whatever. How to write an effective legacy book. You don't need to be a fabulous writer. There's a way to do it. Where to find information in unusual places. Going to the library, looking up news stories, looking in yearbooks, getting family Bibles that have never been seen before, talking to family members, looking flipping over the rocks and looking at the next way to find more information. This can be kind of an obsession, but it's a lot of fun. So I hope to see you in our next class, and feel free to visit our website at www.cw3tree.com. And my phone number is there if you'd like to meet with me. I am on the phone, or meet with me Zoom or Facebook or any other thing. I'm happy to do it, to try to help coach you along if you have any questions. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the next class.